Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Aryna Sabalenka warned she could lose her spot as #1 in the world as her biggest rival is identified. Aryna Sabalenka may have a target on her back after failing to win the title at another Grand Slam. Sabalenka lost to Amanda Anisimova in the Wimbledon semifinals, matching her best previous result at the grass court major. Despite dominating on the WTA Tour, this continues the Belarusian's Grand Slam drought in 2025, with Sabalenka losing to Coco Gauff in the Roland Garros final and Madison Keys in the Australian Open final. After Sabalenka continues to lose in the latter stages of majors, it has been predicted that she will be overtaken by a rival of hers. Rick Matchy predicts Iga Swiatek to end the year as world #1. Sabalenka has achieved the highest ranking point tally since Serena Williams after reaching the Wimbledon semifinal. However, after watching Iga Swiatek win Wimbledon, a top tennis coach believes that her place at the summit of the WTA rankings may be at risk. Swiatek has been Sabalenka's biggest rival in recent years, but faded away for a few months this year after a drop-off in form. However, after watching the pole win her 6th Grand Slam title, the former coach of the Williams sisters and Maria Sharapova, Rick Matchy, has predicted her to overtake Sabalenka by the end of the year. Matchy wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, "It will happen sooner than later as Iga will again be #1 on the planet because her mind is made of granite. Not a lot of points to defend, and the Polish Punisher will be #1 by year's end." Aryna Sabalenka versus Coco Gauff versus Iga Swiatek in the WTA rankings. Sabalenka currently has a dominant lead over world #2 Gauff in the WTA rankings, with nearly 5,000 points separating the two. The gap is even greater between Sabalenka and Swiatek, but as Matchy pointed out, the latter has very little ranking points to defend until the end of the season. After missing multiple tournaments at the end of 2024, with Swiatek being banned for 1 month, she now only has 830 ranking points to defend this year, while U.S. Open champion Sabalenka still has 5,025 ranking points to defend this year from her impressive end to the 2024 season. Despite this, Sabalenka is still first in the race to the WTA finals and remains in pole position to end the year as world #1 once again. The 3-time Grand Slam champion is next scheduled to compete in Cincinnati, with Sabalenka withdrawing from the Canadian Open earlier this week. In the heat of summer tennis, where every serve reverberates with ambition and each volley writes the future, Aryna Sabalenka stands atop the WTA rankings, confident, powerful, and focused. Her rise to the #1 position was no accident. It was built on seasons of firepower, relentless training, and a serve that could make even the most seasoned returner second-guess their stance. Yet, the world of tennis is not a throne built to last forever. Whispers have grown into waves. Sabalenka's reign may be under siege. A new challenger is on the rise, and the tennis world is beginning to turn its eyes elsewhere. "She's dominant now, but she's not untouchable," said former Grand Slam champion and tennis analyst Justine Henin during a recent broadcast. "There's someone quietly, steadily preparing to unseat her." The warning is clear. Sabalenka may need to dig even deeper. The margin for error has never been thinner. A champion's reign. Since ascending to the WTA #1 ranking, Aryna Sabalenka has personified power tennis. Her explosive ground strokes, intimidating presence, and thunderous serves make her one of the most physically commanding players the women's game has seen in years. After her first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open and several deep tournament runs, she silenced doubters who once called her too emotional, too wild, or too erratic. But even amid her triumphs, there were cracks, occasional mental lapses, erratic second serves under pressure, and matches where her power game unraveled against agile counterpunchers. She has kept her top spot, but challengers have started knocking more loudly, identifying the rival, Iga Swiatek's inevitable rise. If there's one name that's become synonymous with tennis consistency, strategic brilliance, and mental calm, it's Iga Swiatek. The Polish prodigy, still only in her early 20s, has already notched multiple Grand Slam titles and has proven herself across all surfaces. Her 37-match, win streak in 2022 remains one of the most awe-inspiring feats in modern tennis history. After a brief slip in form earlier in the season, Swiatek has come roaring back with a more mature, nuanced game. She's no longer just a baseline machine. She's added variety, net play, and an even more composed mental approach. She's evolved, Martina Navratilova said on a recent podcast. IGA doesn't chase the spotlight. She chases greatness. That's far more dangerous for Sabalenka than any flashy challenger. The rivalry is brewing into the stuff of legends. Each time they meet on court, the tennis world holds its breath. Swiatek's style, a counter to Sabalenka's raw aggression, creates a stylistic duel reminiscent of classic rivalries, like Federer versus Nadal or Graf versus Seles. The numbers game, rankings in peril. Behind the scenes, WTA rankings are a delicate balance of recent performance, consistency, and the ability to defend points from previous seasons. Sabalenka currently holds a slim lead at the top, but several pundits have sounded the alarm. She's defending a massive number of points from late summer and fall performances in 2024. Swiatek, in contrast, has fewer points to defend, meaning a series of deep runs over the next few months could easily flip the rankings. Even small fluctuations, quarterfinal exits instead of finals, one early loss at a major, could tip the scales. A few high-profile titles from Swiatek, combined with Sabalenka faltering under pressure, and suddenly the queen could be dethroned. The psychological warfare. Perhaps the most underrated aspect of this rivalry is what happens between the ears. Sabalenka has long been open about her struggles with composure under pressure. Though she's made major strides, thanks to mental conditioning coaches and a tighter support circle, there's a sense that Swiatek holds the edge in psychological strength. Sabalenka can beat anyone on her day, said former world number 1 Caroline Wozniacki. But Swiatek brings that chess player mentality. She absorbs pressure. She disarms. And that wears on Aryna. During one of their recent showdowns, the difference in emotional demeanor was striking. Sabalenka raged after missed shots, while Swiatek barely blinked, executing a silent dismantling of her opponent's rhythm. In elite tennis, confidence isn't a luxury, it's a weapon. And Swiatek's growing calm is beginning to look like Sabalenka's biggest nightmare. Rising stars in the shadows. While Swiatek is the most immediate threat, she's not the only one in Sabalenka's rearview mirror. Coco Gauff, fresh off her US Open win, has been playing some of the most mature tennis of her young career. Jessica Pegula, Aryna Rybakina, and even veterans like Ons Jabeur have shown flashes of brilliance. Each of them brings a different challenge. Gauff's athleticism and defense frustrate attackers. Rybakina, much like Sabalenka, has power to match. Pegula's tactical IQ keeps her ever dangerous. Jabeur's creativity throws chaos into rigid power games. This isn't just a two-woman race, it's an evolving battlefield. Sabalenka's position is less a throne and more a rotating chair. Sabalenka's next chapter, adapt or fall. If Sabalenka wants to keep the crown, she'll need to evolve. Her game, while devastating, is also one-dimensional at times. To counter Swiatek's chessboard strategy or Gauff's relentless defense, she must develop finesse, drop shots, net approaches, off-pace slices that disrupt rhythm. She also must tighten her serve under pressure. Her double faults at key moments have haunted her in Grand Slams. That small chink in the armor has turned matches into marathons she should have finished earlier. Beyond the technical, Sabalenka must embrace her role as the hunted. For years, she was the underdog with fire. Now, she is the one with the target on her back. Can she reforge her mentality, not just to attack, but to defend her place in history? The fans and the frenzy. The WTA Tour has never been more alive with stories. Fans have flocked to this Sabalenka versus Swiatek era because it's the perfect collision of contrasts: power versus precision, fire versus ice, storm versus stillness. Social media debates rage daily. Is Aryna truly number 1 material? Does Swiatek deserve to reclaim her throne? Is Gauff the next Serena, hiding in plain sight? For Sabalenka, the noise is deafening. Every match becomes a referendum on her legitimacy. Every loss fuels the idea that her peak has passed. But therein lies the magic of tennis. It gives second chances. And third, And fourth, champions aren't only made by their victories, but how they rise after a stumble. The next showdown looms. The upcoming hardcourt season promises fireworks. Sabalenka and Swiatek are both entered into marquee tournaments. Cincinnati, the U.S. Open, the WTA Finals. Each court is a stage. Each match is a message. For Aryna, it's a chance to reaffirm her dominance. For IGA, it's the perfect storm to reclaim what was once hers. One is the incumbent, the other, the heir apparent. And tennis fans, they're the real winners, watching greatness collide with greatness. Final rally, the crown is heavy. Aryna Sabalenka once said in a post-match interview, "I want to be number one not just for 1 week. I want to stay number one. That's the hard part." She was right.